What is up, trader fam? Back on Monday, and it's snowpocalypse 2. Second big storm hitting the East Coast. Certainly there are economic repercussions to big storms. Probably negative. Maybe you could argue there's some positives there. I don't know. You got the salt companies printing, the tote companies printing, maybe Netflix subscriptions. I don't know. But we have some big global disruptions based on this snow. I know a lot of you out there are getting hammered again. Stay safe. Make sure you got all your supplies. Stay warm. I don't know. Don't hurt yourself shoveling the car. I guess lots of people are having heart attacks this year shoveling the car out. Be careful. If you need to take a little break from the charts, that's okay, because, well, crypto hasn't really gone anywhere. Bitcoin right about where it is. However, there is some spice in markets, very limited spice. Gold on the thumbnail looking pretty solid here this morning. Breaking out, I'll say exactly as predicted. Looking for gold to retest those highs. We've been talking about this for, I don't know, man, forever. Gold painting out, testing resistance at 5,100, breaking out into this new weekly start, putting in local higher highs, and it's pretty much just going according to plan here. Now, a back test of 5,100 could give us a very juicy price to look to take a position. Likely looking to target that previous all-time high at 5,600. I think that could be played pretty well. There isn't a lot else that feels tradable right now. Gold is really shining. Those yellow rocks, man. Everybody digging the yellow rocks. We identified gold's bullish structure over the last few weeks, and it's good to see it playing out here. After bulls have been coming in at higher prices, sellers getting exhausted at 5,100. This was the rational, probable move to see a retest, or at least price float back up to the high and see if markets are ready to price in an even higher gold. I'm not going to go ahead and make that call. I'm not going to say gold's looking for a new all-time high this quarter. It is possible. And I mean, with the speed that the entire global financial market has been, I don't want to say evolving, but just changing, anything can really happen here. But I do think that gold will look for at least 5,600 into the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 3-month, maybe 6-month period of consolidation, sideways trading. We can call it accumulation, where gold then kind of rallies or builds up energy, we'll say, while putting out a little bit of the hype, and then looks to maybe make an end of the year move. We'll find out. Gold could easily move to 5,600 right now. I'm just not making the call. If it does, we are absolutely looking for higher prices, likely upwards of what, like 6,000? I thought we had 750 on this chart. I don't know where that went. Maybe it's only on the daily time frame. This is what happens when you have too many charts, guys. The dangers of it. I'll look for it later. Upwards of 6,000, maybe 7,500 into the end of the year, I think is pretty reasonable. We also identified a comparative or relative weakness in silver. While silver's rally was absolutely mind-boggling, and it may have more gains into the end of the year, its shorter-term outlook was not looking as good as gold. After falling with pretty much everything else in February, a 50% decline in a day, silver went on to paint lower highs and lower lows. At the end of last week, things were starting to look good. Silver was moving back up and beginning to make progress, breaking out of its descending or bearish trend line here. That was a great start, and Monday has put on more gains. Obviously, comparatively less than gold. Silver's up about 2.75% today, but the real problem and the comparable weakness is, well, basically its market structure. $92 remains above it, and this is where I have been saying over and over and over again, as long as silver is below 92, it's really not a long in my book. If it can retake it, we can basically go from there, but for now, even though it has put on some ground and it is looking, obviously, I don't know, better than Bitcoin or better than other stuff at the moment, gold is the play. Silver remains below this high, and as long as that is true, what we've seen here is kind of a collapse in the bid. Silver was exponentially being bid higher and higher and higher. And with 24 hours, traded 40% down, buyers did not manage to recover. This market structure is genuinely damaged by what has happened over the last few weeks. And the outlook on it, in my opinion, is sideways or downward until we can see a high broken. And that would put it at $92. I keep wanting to say 1,000, 92,000. Freaking Bitcoin got me all gooped up on the thousands. But silver remains there. Obviously, could still have an optimistic week ahead. Gold leading, probably not a bad sign for silver into this week. Stocks, I still think look toppy. Markets look kind of toppy. I don't hear enough people talking about it, honestly. The S&P is still at the exact same price. We've had this chart on the weekly for months now, and it's the same chart. Nothing has happened. We see just sideways candles. We see trading between 6,700 and 7,000, finding sellers here. The energy seems to at least be paused when it comes to these major indices. We long ago identified this level about 7,000 as a potential top for this market. Using very similar analysis, we were able to pretty much pinpoint the top of the rally in February of last year at 6,100. And in the bigger context, this could still be a healthy bullish move. Even if the markets do correct here down to about 6,100, we could simply see a back test of that previous resistance as support and a continuation into the end of the year. The kind of funny part is if that is what is brewing right now, and that is what is shortly going to happen maybe over the next month, it starts to look exactly like last year. There's a total repeat of markets moving up into the year, some sideways movement, a little reluctance around a high, and then a rollover that brings us potentially back into a recovery. Mind you, this kind of move here, similar to what I was hoping for or looking for on silver, maybe what silver doesn't have, is able to pretty sharply recover. You don't see the series of lows broken with like kind of the hesitation at the highs. This is a clean, healthy recovery, and that could be in store here, which really means 6,100 may be a really great position for 2026 if it comes on the SPX. I personally might look to take a position there. I rarely trade stocks, but our hit rate, especially when it comes to these macro moves on indices, have been very good on this channel. The Dow, DJI, all of your problems. You guys, you realize that all your problems aren't real. Inflation's not real. You all aren't struggling financially. You're very happy in your lives because the Dow's over 50,000. Actually, it's not. Dow back below 50,000 and seems to maybe be in a typical market fashion cursing that statement. I said something along the lines of anytime you brag about kind of a price point or, like 50,000 or Bitcoin 100,000 seems to be like a curse. And immediately it summons price moving in the other direction. I'll concede the Dow has not moved enough, and it really hasn't moved out of what I'll call any kind of like channel that it's in. It hasn't corrected enough that makes me say from a chart point of view, I think that the top is in. It's really the other charts and the other factors around it that is looking toppy. This still has more downside before I think anything is like a miss. 47.8, kind of these local highs from November. If you see that retested, you do begin to wonder if there's a head and shoulders afoot. Equal lows leading to maybe a weak high. There are different ways that can play out, but I'll say that the Dow is actually not as bad as everything else. And if the Dow was in a bubble without any other assets or charts in front of it, I would say markets aren't looking quite as toppy. Now, but you zoom out and you see this is kind of the course of the DJI. It seems to do very long periods of, I'll say, low volatility, tight upward channels that kind of snap down and then recover. I wonder if can this go on forever, right? Is this like a forever thing? I don't know. You zoom out and you think this is probably due for some kind of move to the downside, whether it's here or into the end of the year. I think it's pretty inevitable. But with the way everything else looks, I feel as if that is a compelling piece of evidence here. The DJI has closed freaking 9-10 green months in a row. Wild. February. I hate February. It's such a weird month. It's weird to say. Has 4 days and 3 hours to go. It's the shortest month of the year, and we're wrapping it up. It is kind of interesting that the DJI may give up all of its gains. It would only have to trade down $144 to totally reverse February's gains. It would close at 0% if it is down just 150 more. Let's go all the way back here to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is absolutely testing our patience, our last nerves, our sanity, pretty much everything, all at once. All at once, man. October's all-time high was just giga meteor smashed down, trading down 35%, getting a 20% bounce. Didn't even feel like 20% before trading another 38% down. If you guys are in our Discord, if you follow me on Twitter, discord.gg/TomCrown or Twitter @TomCrown, you may have seen me say last night or the night before that I think Bitcoin was looking to break upwards. I still actually do. As almost instantly after tweeting that, it started dumping, and ain't that just how it always works out when it comes to charts? I think I tweeted it like right here, like right at this move. And I will admit, zooming in, this looks not good. That is a very clear selling impulse. There is not enough energy, not enough bids to get it back even to where it fell from. And we've already broken lower here in the last 2 hours, actually. This is absolutely ugly, but I still do think that we are looking for that retracement to the upside. We had talked about over the last forever, man, I just have a broken record, a bear flag. I think everybody was looking at a bear flag. It's a reasonable way to view this chart. We had a low coming off a pole. We had a low marked by lower highs and higher lows, price consolidating, tightening up, and the bear flag pattern typically says you break down. Now in crypto, I just don't see them play out like that. What I have been waiting for and talking to you guys about is a fake break. Fake break basically meaning whatever direction this flag looks to move originally, I think is going to be the wrong direction for the greater move. Now, I guess fortunately it's moved to the downside. We have seen a break of our lows here. This is a bear flag playing out as a bear flag with the move downward. But here's what I think happens. And I don't know if this is the low right now. Maybe as we zoom in, we can get a little more evidence or kind of zoom in on what level that might be. 62.8 stands out basically from the daily closes from early February. Might be a decent position. But this is looking to me, at least for now, like the fake break. This means that I believe there is a long position somewhere between current price at 64.8 and 62.8. Where does that take us? Man, nowhere super great. I think even if we do get this, so we have the fake break, we're assuming to the downside, looking for that reversal impulse move. And I mean, we are crammed on this chart. We have resistance at 80.5. The CME chart just continues to mock us, man, with a gap roughly around that value. It does go up to 84.1, but I'll say kind of the visible part of this gap is 81.2, and that's right where we'd be looking at the spot price, unfortunately. We opened with the tiniest gap ever today over the weekend. It's not even really relevant or worth putting up there, but I'll do it regardless. There's like an $80 gap here, 67.8. Not really anything exciting. 67.8, right around here. Yeah. Basically, this fake break reasoning, if you're wondering why I'm looking for this, maybe as a trader, I have to admit here to you guys that it is more based on a gut feeling, and that's not a good way to trade. I will absolutely admit to that. Typically, we don't look to trade based on guts or feelings. We like to keep it analytical. We like to keep it logic and evidence-based. And, man, if you're going to do that, which you probably should, and you probably should not go off your gut, you got to bet down. I mean, everything on the chart looks bad. It is probably not a terrible bet to be looking downward. pretty much on anything here. Even in the case of the fake break and then move to the upside, this move is likely worthy to be faded. I remember saying somewhere around the 81 to 84 mark, I'd likely look to open a short position. I think that's still on the table. From an analytical chart-based perspective, there's just not a lot looking upward. We do see on the daily some signs, and I won't say bullish signs, but I'll say maybe slowing down of the momentum on the sell side. Our daily momentum has moved back towards the zero line, made a crossover again, and hopefully this is faking us out here, but looks like it does want to return to the zero line. Now, pretty much everything else on here looks bad, but with pretty great predictability or consistency on big time frames. When you start seeing this, you do see that return to the zero, and that usually means you get an upside move. There really just is not a lot. There's just not a lot to go on the bullish side. I want to be, and you guys know I'm always bullish on Bitcoin, baby. Bitcoin isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get stronger over time. You can actually see maybe even on the week what I'm describing here on the day. We see momentum potentially pinching down deep in the selling zone. And while I don't really believe that it's going to, lead to something like this, a crazy swing, I do think that that can give us a pause, a slowdown, or at least pause or slow down on selling while bears figure out really what the next move is going to be. It has been a long time actually since we have seen so much negative momentum on this chart. We can actually see on the week, as the bull run began into 23, we can see this momentum coming up, these higher highs paving the way for higher prices. And right about November of 24, at the end of 2024, arguably the last time crypto was really exciting, that momentum failed to break higher. And this was, I guess, looking back in hindsight, it's 2020, a signal that the run was getting exhausted. The silver lining here would be, on the flip side, momentum all the way down here at levels seen basically at the bear market bottom. That is kind of wild. Momentum on the week has only been lower in 2018 when price crashed from 6K to 3K after trading sideways for a year. Wow, that's bonkers. Right around here. That puts it into perspective just how much momentum and how much energy we've already absorbed on this chart to the downside. It is similar to this move, what we have already seen. While we zoom out and we look at potential places for this to bottom out, there's definitely there's some price points that look reasonable. The 200-week moving average is still at 58,000. At this point, everyone's looking at this, I think. We came incredibly close to testing it on the dump into February, but we didn't quite make it. That dump bringing us to 60K on the dot, about 2,000 higher than the 200-week moving average. It seems like everyone's holding their breath for it. I don't believe that I don't know. At this point, it's like everyone's looking at it. We're so close to there on price. It seems like the logical level for market makers to just run, like dump it under 58K. I don't know, wherever you got to do to run stops, 50K, and then close back above the 200. This is the ultimate pain setup, in my opinion, is sell below the 200, then wick back up by the end of the week whenever this happens, close above the 200 week, make people think support is held. Maybe that is, if you don't get the bounce here, maybe that's when you get kind of that return to 80K just to sell into it again, right? I think that's probably the downside maximum pain scenario. We spent a good amount of time below the 200 week in the last bear market. We had never done that before. As you can see, in 2018 and 2020, price pretty reliably held on to the 200 week. This was the very attractive point that people were looking to rebuy. What's interesting is that still kind of true, even though the environment has shifted. People were talking about buying at the 200 pretty much after 2020. And we spent so much time below it in the last bear market. Now I'm hearing people talk about it again as an entry point. What I really think it is a spot for a potential bounce. I think it's also a great spot to maybe begin a laddering or DCA strategy. People often say, is now the best time to put all your money in or something? And while I don't give financial advice, typically I say something along the lines of, it looks different for everyone. Everyone's in a different scenario. But the best approaches, in my opinion, involve making moves slowly over time in a calculated manner, not jumping in all at once. And what people struggle with often in that sense is, when do I begin doing this? Do I begin doing it now? Do I begin whatever? The 200-week moving average may be a great spot to start whatever system, whatever you're looking at. It's already at 58,000. That is over 50% off from the all-time high. Most people who start buying Bitcoin buy it somewhere near the all-time high, and just think of that. You're already getting a 50% discount. While it is likely to trade lower over the course of the year, you're already starting pretty well off. I think historically, starting to buy 50% down from bull market tops, let's see, actually wasn't that great. Wasn't that wonderful in the last one. It would have started buying at 33. It inevitably saw 16, so it went down another 50%. But yeah, as an indicator to begin some kind of system, to deploy some kind of system. Other than that, numbers get very strange. 50,000. Yeah, we have 58K as the 200 week. 50,000 was our ETF high, our 2024 August low. This was a perfect resistance flip, tested as support and held. Bitcoin has not done that in a bull run very often. There's only a few examples that I can find, and the examples that we do find, I don't know if they're on this chart. I don't know if that was the full history. Yeah, here we go. The examples that we do find were never tested again. We can see this back here in June of 17. Price was all the way at 3,000. Who remembers this? Who was in Bitcoin back here? I joined a little bit after, but people were still calling Bitcoin expensive at 3,000. But it had hit an all-time high, pulled back, broke the high, moved to 5,000, and pretty perfectly back tested it. There's not a lot of examples of this at all in a bull run, but you can see that price never revisited it. Is this hopium that it will never revisit 50K? Absolutely, but at least it's some good hopium based on something. I don't know if it's really bet worthy, but it's something in the ring for the bulls here. This is a very uncommon scenario. Bitcoin really doesn't make moves that are clean, especially in a bull run, cleanly make resistance and then come back and just tap them. Typically when it's in a bull run, it doesn't allow people to enter in such basic, easy ways. And the same is true in a bear market. Typically it falls and doesn't get clean back tests of resistance. And so that's why they are uncommon. So let's hope that means we're never going to see 50K. I don't think we should hold our breath on that. That seems like not the best bet. I would welcome it though. Where was I? We got Bitcoin, we got lows, we got the chat. I got to pull up at some point and see what you guys are saying. Can gold hit 7.5K by April? I don't think so. This is relevant not just to the charts, but to what's going on in the world right now. So I don't think so. However, it's kind of like the winter storms this season, right? So friends were talking about it snowing this weekend, and they're like, oh, it only says like 2 inches, or some people says like 2 feet. And I was like, usually I would say there's just no chance. I don't care if they say there's 2 feet of snow coming. Like, they say this every year, never comes. Like, typically I would just totally dismiss it, right? But we just had a huge storm where we got more snow in one day than we've had like in whole seasons now. And so the rules are kind of off the table. We could easily see another 2 feet. We could see nothing. But like, I typically would say it's impossible. This is kind of similar to the gold question at the moment. Can gold hit 7.5K by April? That's a really hard bet. I want to lean towards no. But we have seen gold make such crazy, uncharacteristic moves over the course of the last 3 months that it's so hard to to gauge, right? It's just like the rules have changed. The environment has changed. If you would have asked me, can gold hit 7.5 thousand by April a year ago or 2 years ago, I think the answer would have obviously been no. In fact, when we were calling for gold to go parabolic and double in price, most people did not think that that was a very possible outcome. It certainly did double in price, suckers. I think here is like your indication. Gold is looking good to at least move back to the all-time high. The price action that we've seen on the recovery is flat top. It's ascending in nature. So before we jump to new numbers, I think we want to see how it reacts to the all-time high, obviously. But we may see a similar setup, right? We may see price kind of dick around, retest the high, and then I was saying about how we may have a 3 to 6 month period of consolidation and accumulation on gold. Maybe we see something, similar like this. We see price move back down to a higher low, tag the high again, and paint basically just a fractal of what it has done already on the recovery. So can it? Sure. Should I? Am I going to bet on it? Probably not. I think any positions I take that are new in gold would be looking to close at or near the previous all-time high. If I was sitting in spot and I hadn't sold anything, I would look to sell some, probably at 5,600. If I had taken some profits along the way, I'd probably just chill and relax. I'd probably just chill and relax. The dollar going to get weak, making the gold stronger. Dude, who knows what's going on with tariffs? At this point, it's a joke. The dollar has been incredibly weak. The dollar has been incredibly weak. Its strength tapped out at the bear market bottom, September, November of 22. Kind of interesting that Bitcoin has seen kind of all-time highs at swing lows of the dollar, and bear markets kind of at the all-time highs, but at swing highs of the dollar. And here we are at the, cyclical low for the dollar chart, the lowest point over the last over the last like 4 or 5 years. And we certainly don't see Bitcoin at all-time highs. It's comparatively still weak, kind of like hasn't been during bull markets. But the dollar has sold off and stayed down with strong consistency. It is very difficult to predict what the dollar will do. I don't really even think narratives, I don't even think like it even seems to matter what goes on in the world. The dollar kind of just makes its own course. I would not be surprised to see the dollar have an upward move this year. I don't know if it breaks 100, but to see the dollar have some kind of rally into this year, only because it has been moving down with such consistency. Maybe that means a retest of 100. How does tariffs and gold factor into it? Man, it doesn't seem connected to me. It doesn't appear that there is a concrete logical connection between the two at this point. I've been saying this a good amount over the last 6 months, probably, that markets in general feel this way. It doesn't seem as if logical, thing where we can think, well, but that, I don't know, there's less apples, so the price of apples will go up. It just doesn't seem the markets have been behaving this way. It seems that there's been a different underlying invisible hand or current that has kind of been in the driver's seat. You could argue all kinds of things. I don't know what the answer is, but you could argue all kinds of things. Maybe you could say kind of algorithmic AI trading is going to be more tuned into narrative-driven things or news-driven things, and front-running trading, kind of taking the low liquidity out of those trades, and that's why we're seeing markets move almost inversely to narratives. I don't know. Could be just cracks in the foundation, things coming unraveled behind the scenes that we don't see. But gold, just in general, I mean, here's the way I look at it, and I like to keep it this way, is that charts don't, kind of regardless of what I just said, charts don't appear to me to be driven by any of these things that we think drives them. Charts appear, in my experience, live streaming 7 years, doing analysis for almost a decade, charts appear to be driven by their charts, and that is a weird statement. I know. gold was rallying in late 24. There wasn't the same concepts here. Maybe we can say the charts knew what would happen. It was baking in already what would happen in 25 and 26. I don't know. But gold broke its trend line. This is what I mean by the chart seems to drive itself. Is gold broke its 40-year trend line at the end of 24. During this time, while we were streaming and looking at this, we were waiting for it. We saw it approach it, and we said, okay, well, you know, I've seen this happen in crypto. I don't see this happen in gold. I've never seen it in gold. I've never really seen it in other markets. But in crypto, when we have something like this kind of setup, when that asset overtakes that trend line, it kind of enters into space. There's nothing above it. There's nothing weighing it down in the same way that it's experienced for, I don't know, all of its history. And we tend to see things go parabolic. And you can go back on this channel and find us in 2024 saying gold looks like it's going to go parabolic and like double, quickly double. So what I was going with that is that all these things that we think matters, you know, maybe they do, maybe they're being baked in early, but at the end of the day, I think that the chart itself is a better indicator of like everything. I don't know. Like there was no like kind of macroeconomic thing going on that, you know, was a logical push for gold at the time. Maybe there is now uncertainty and instability, but that was before then. Charts just seem to behave in a somewhat consistent way when it comes to, let's say, like support and resistances or trend lines or whatever you want to call it. And there are certain behaviors that we see that seem to apply overall. Like when you escape a trend line, you escape all your trend lines to the top side, gold went nuts. And that seems to happen in like kind of any market that achieves that setup. I think logically we would see more downside on the dollar, more downward pressure on the dollar, or at least US bonds or treasuries or whatever. Not even remarking on the Supreme Court decision here necessarily, though I have in the past, but this is not a direct remark. Even just the whole tariff thing that we've had for over a year, the attempts at trade deals, etc. Simply like the Supreme Court saying you can't do that on the public stage of the world sets up a really odd precedent for every other country we're trading with. Basically, we're going to get you into these, you know, we're going to look for these deals, we're trying to negotiate things, and then maybe we just turn around and don't honor it. If I was a foreign country, I would look to divest myself, at least in the short term, from the United States. That's my take. I don't think that I would be able to trust that your side of the deal is going to be held up. It doesn't seem as if the mechanisms are in place right now for that. Hopefully that trust can be regained, etc. But like in this shorter term to, I don't know, end of this year at minimum, kind of seems that you would just look for deals elsewhere, investments elsewhere. At least until, I don't know, we figure out what we're doing, right? Whether we're going in one direction or not, or I don't know. I think there's a logical argument there. But will that weigh out in charts? I kind of don't know. Even if it does, I don't think that it's specifically helpful to know, perhaps. And that the charts are largely just going to keep charting. They're just going to keep doing as they do. I was getting in the zone. What was I doing here? Bitcoin's bringing down. MicroStrategy is looking exactly where we left it. Can you open, buy, trade, or sell trade right now? Provinurge? Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. Are you asking me for a guaranteed entry and take profit that will guaranteed win and make you money? I do not have a crystal ball, brother. I do not. Man, it would be pretty much short on anything. What the hell is Bitcoin dominance doing? It looks ugly now. I think my computer's freezing up. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. Let's see, BTCD. Where's our Bitcoin minus Tether? This was a good one. What's up, Pooch? Strategy doesn't give a shit. No, Strategy apparently does not give a shit. Remember how people were pissing themselves talking about Michael Saylor selling his Bitcoin? If Bitcoin, I don't know, like if it goes under 75K, they'll liquidate. And I don't know. Here we are at 60 something. Saylor's still buying. I wish Saylor, like I know that they want to do this strategy that they've done, which is anytime they have money, they just buy Bitcoin regardless of price. And I cheers to the consistency of that. But I wish he would just make one little concession of they will only buy lower than their last price. Maybe they could set like a certain amount of time on it, not say it publicly. But like whatever capital they're going to throw at it, wait until it's any amount lower. Wouldn't like just that little caveat, please, Saylor. Just stop blasting at the same prices and stop blasting every time it goes up. Just like hold on to it, accumulate it, and then if it trades lower, then you go to your OTC desk and you buy more. Very, very soon. It's already at 88 in China. It comes back in a market in a few hours. Silver, we're at 88. We're not out of the woods yet. I would say like arguably like very, very close to resistance. The China comment brings me back to these days though. Just had a little deja vu. The Shanghai premium, you know, it's at 130, 140. Like, you know, it's going to keep going up because of that. I don't know. That seems like an argument that didn't really play so well. I am hands off on silver, and I would say while it is a rough idea to look to short this right now. Yeah, that means it's a good idea. I would probably be more in the short book until we are over 92. Gold, I think that there is a play for a long. Silver, I think is closer to a short for me. I don't like the idea of just taking the long on this like weak move up. I don't know. Let's see. It's looking a little droopy. I don't like it. I feel like you long here and you just watch it go back down. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not shorting silver. I said I'm closer to a short. If I had to take one, I would probably short. I mean, let's be for real, guys. Look at what happened. Look at it. Look at what it went down. Freaking, almost 50% in like 6 days. Not saying it can't go up more. I mean, I talked about this earlier in the stream, but like, don't ignore this. We've seen this in crypto. I was always the guy watching this happen in the past for Bitcoin, watching these moves down and going, oh yeah, like it's just like warming up for a bounce. It's warming up to go higher, and just getting caught, you know, because it was so bullish, and like I think that energy's still there, and I'm like expecting it to continue forever, and eventually the music stops. I take, you know, this all changes. Silver just trades a little higher. That's all I need. That's all I need to do. Break 92. I've been saying it, I don't know, since like the second week of February. Break your high. Get out of this lower high, lower low downtrend. This looks ugly after a move like this. And then, you know, races are back on. Gold is looking good. That's probably a good signal for silver. Certainly a good silver. A good signal for silver. Breaking out. I think gold is closer to a long. We were talking, I mean, this whole time, we're talking about gold being stronger, gold probably being a long, where silver is still iffy. Not quite as confident. Here we go. Gold broke out. So far, going to plan. If Bitcoin could be a long, that'd be cool. There are so many signals that this thing is super extended to the downside already, which is kind of crazy. Considering everyone's expecting, I don't know, another 50% move down, probably. Roughly, like 32. I think that's where most bears are looking. And then you have the delusional bears that are looking like down here. God, I sure hope that they are still delusional. They have been saying Bitcoin was going to go to like 0 forever. So hopefully they've been wrong forever. Hopefully they're still wrong. This looks like absolute shit though. Gotta catch a break. No way, Jose. Where's Jose? What's up, 𝐒𝐴𝐽𝐡? NASDAQ ID? What? Hit the like button. What's up, 88 Ace? NASDAQ long? I don't even think I pulled up the NASDAQ lately. Skirt it. What's up, two wheel crypto? Wait for it to break 92 for silver and then tap for support. I think that's a better plan. Thank you for clarifying like what I was saying. Wow, I haven't pulled this up in a long time. I'm glad you brought this up. That is like a better interpretation of what I've been saying. I don't want to give the idea that I'm mega bearish on silver. I've been giving a consistent idea that I'm favoring gold over silver, that I think gold had the better upside for the short term, which has turned out to be true, at least so far. And that silver simply needs to make one move, make it move, a technical move that's not that far from price to kind of change my opinion on it. And then it can establish an uptrend to move back to its all-time highs, etc. But right now it hasn't, just simply hasn't done it. You know, looking at NASDAQ, it has been a long time since I've pulled up this chart. I probably want to guess that it was like back in, I don't know, back here, early 25. We don't pull up the indices too often. Usually it's just the SPX. I was talking about markets looking toppy. That I think that SPX and I think even the moves on gold and silver and Bitcoin and that they look toppy. DJI. I would have been even more confident in that if NASDAQ was right up here. I'm kind of surprised that it's not. SPX is right here. It's right at the 1618 extension. Where's that chart? Right here at the 1618 extension. NASDAQ is not. NASDAQ kind of looks like it might have more room. I don't really know what that looks like. Like the relation of them topping out historically. I would assume it's at the same time. This is not looking great either, though. That is not looking great at all. Failed your high in January. This year you failed highs. Kind of bear flag down. This alert. God, all these freaking rentals and stuff are messaging me. They're like, hey, do you want to meet right now? It's like, no, dude, I asked you to schedule a thing. What do you like? I know it's noon on a Monday. Do you want to meet this minute? What's up, Daniel? Beater trading. I can't lose 7 years of brand recognition. Appreciate you, Daniel. I wear the tank top when I go to the gym in the morning. I've been going to the gym more, trying to get myself motivated with this whole move and shit. Very, very demotivating on top of markets being boring and painful. So I've been trying to kick my own butt, get myself to the gym in the morning. It's kind of been working. Doesn't work that well. 200 weeks. It's been a while since we hit the 200 week on NASDAQ. Either way, though, NASDAQ, I would say no trade for me right now, but I can describe very easily 2 future trades. There you go. Take profit at 27. Potentially short if we haven't moved down first, looking for 22.4. If you hit 22.4 first, I think you can look for a long there. There you are. Easy peas. But right now, that'd be no trade for me. Trading on that flag, meh. I am surprised that it's so different. That makes me wonder where the rut is at. The rut's really slow. Broke. Equal highs. Broke off of a higher low. Still trudging up. 3,100 for the rut. Still would prefer a long down here at 2,500 than looking for a position right now. If I had to take a position right now on it, I still wouldn't take one today, but I'd probably look maybe for this weekly open, 26, 27, another lower high, and I'd look for the short down to 25. Something like that. I guess this could be taken higher. There we go. I don't like this though. It's too sketchy there. There you go. 3 potential trades. I like it. What else we got? Let me refresh it. By the way, guys, please smash. I haven't like chilled anything, said anything. Please smash the likes, subscribe, join us. Gonna get Rio playing on copper. Yeah, sure, why not? Subscribe, like, all the stuff. Help engage. I see Vision of Trading. Subscribe today. Jason, Gino, Vegan, GK Gold FX. Oh man, Bitcoin Bijan, I missed your super chat. Short term, Bitcoin is for 80K bounce or dump to 45K. Bro, I wish I knew, man. I wish I knew. 80K or 45K. Like as I was saying, I'm leaning to this 80,000. I'm leaning. I thought before this breakdown, I thought we were going to see the move there. That's just such a hard question, bro. 40K is a big drop, though. 45, let me see. Let's consult the old fractal. Where's the fractal at? Right here. It's starting to deviate from the fractal, I'll say. This is the first move that actually deviates from the fractal at all. The previous leg up here, basically November to January, almost identical. The fall, almost identical. A lot of the price action here, almost identical. But this is a deviation here. So I guess this is another piece of why I was looking for a fake break, right? You can see on the fractal, literally behind the charts, we had the fake break to the upside. This bear flag resolved up. It found resistance. It was sold into, and it collapsed. This move here, I think, damn, I don't know how you'd argue it otherwise. Looks like the breakdown, which is actually the opposite of what happened. Alarm just went off. I think conservatively, 74. Very conservatively. Man. I like that it's deviated because it's been just too closely following this. And this was getting real sketchy. It's a hard question, man. I don't know. I don't even know the answer. But I appreciate your super chat. I know that was a while ago. What's up, Paul? How you doing, bro? Tell us about Xauusd. Why you got a dolphin for alarm? I don't know, because it's an iPhone. Because it's an iPhone. Only Ben Cohen has it. Has what? Crystal ball? Ben Cohen doesn't have a crystal ball. Get out of here. Get out of here. Ben Cohen is a smart guy, but he is wrong about stuff just as much as the rest of us. No crystal balls. God, this looks bad. Ever gonna fucking bounce? Like, if we're just ever gonna have any buyers, it's got to let all the sellers go first. Broke the low. What's crazy is we had this big sell-off, a weak rebound, lower high, sold off again into a lower low, and it didn't just collapse. That's kind of weird, actually. I would typically be like looking for that off of something like this. Could still be coming. We're right here at the 618. Could be worse. I think 62.8. I like that. Okay, you broke down, you back, jeez. Back tested a trade lower. Oof. Oof. Like rallying happens to the landlord's house. Rip. Rip. Man. Oh yeah, Rio or something. Said it's a copper trade. Rio Copper. Ticker trading view. Rio NYSE. It's one thing I love about stocks. You can have just the crazy longest histories. Okay. I don't know anything about this. I'm looking at it for you. It just zoomed out. I mean, I can see it's looking for its previous all-time high. Wow. I wish we looked like this on the weekly for Bitcoin. Copper never really ripped though, right? Copper broke all-time high and just kind of chilled. I do like 140. I like profit taking for 140 on this. Where's copper? A copper. Yeah, it never really ripped. Like it had this little spike here. That was like right before gold and silver melted down. It fell down. It didn't really melt down the same way. 15%. Now it's largely where it was. Still looks more bullish than Bitcoin. That RSI. It's like the exact inverted RSI of Bitcoin, I feel. You're like up here and overbought. Yeah, you're selling off, but even these lows are coming to like 50, swooping back up. Like Bitcoin, I swear to God, looks like this. It's like fell down, can't get out of here, can't get above 50. I think copper could have more upside. I guess that would be good for Rio. Is that like a 40% move? 42%. It doesn't seem super volatile. I guess neither is copper. One thing that's more difficult about this. This is more difficult because what do you do, right? It feels like your only option is long it right here, right at the previous high, which is usually a bad bet. You don't really have support built from this move up. You have like little, I guess these are weeks though. You got some. I think maybe you could look with a tight stop, even though I hate this type of trading. I hate like market ordering into something that's up. This is up 200. This is up 100%, 90% since April of last year, about a year ago. I guess like tight stop, right? Tight stop and then target 140. Unless copper is going absolutely to the moon, I think then you can look for the reverse, right? Profit taking at 140 back to 100. Keep an eye on this chart. It's kind of cool. I don't know what they do. I don't know how it's related to copper. Maybe they're a copper miner. Payoff essay settlements. Copper is the new silver. Silver's the new gold. Copper is the new silver. But iron is the new copper. Something like that. What's up, Ninja? Matt Grimes, how you doing, man? Chris Goss, Hendricks, financial crisis in 2009. It is cool. It's cool, like, to look across charts and see that, like, just like see like big times in history like that, like 2009, 2008, 2009. No matter what you look at, the chart was impacted by that. It is kind of a testament to what I was saying earlier, that charts are just they just seem kind of fundamental. The graphing data and numbers just seems like there's like shared fundamental, I don't know, concepts or behaviors. I don't even know how to describe it. And maybe partly because of their history, right? They all made moves, different moves at different times, or in the sense of like COVID, everything crashed, right? 2020, everything went down, hit basically the lowest price that it could go, and then bounced. And so all markets were, in a way, kind of racing each other from that bottom. Liquidity can only, is finite, can only go to so many places or certain places at the same time. And like maybe that's what shapes them. I don't know, or creates cycles or something cyclical like that. Kind of cool idea. Rio Geo. Bitcoin, if you could bounce, I would be grateful. But you're not going to. Not right now. Gold's flagging out. I mean, I guess to answer the Bitcoin or gold question, man, gold looks like the better move. Silver looks good too, though. I was like more skeptical because silver's right at resistance, but that looks solid. Gold just looks like it's doing kind of the same moves it's been doing every time it moves up. It's like tight little coil breakout. Tight little coil breakout. Tight little coil breakout. Oh, what time is it? 2:08. Started the stream at only an hour in. We're an hour in. I've been doing like way too long streams lately, though. There is nothing on the calendar today. There are no financial events for the U.S. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. we'll have CB customer confidence. Cool. And then Trump speaks at 9 p.m. That's it. On Thursday we have unemployment claims. Friday we get core PPIs month over month. PPI month over month. And then Bitcoin futures expiration. Saturday is the end of February. We're going to enter March on a Sunday, so markets will be closed. Oof. March comes and I only have 1 month to find a freaking place to live. Yee. Awesome. It'll all be okay. Wherever. 9 p.m. Yeah, everybody's in different time zones. Rip down Biddy. One more rip down on Biddy. Probably all the treasury companies, right? Although I assume they kind of all are wrecked already. Nimoy. Got me drained. Sell everything, Trinity. My attitude is making you bearish. Okay. I mean, I think gold looks like good right now, but other than that, I feel markets do look toppy. Maybe that changes. Bitcoin certainly has zero. There's just no bull argument here. That doesn't mean it can't go up. In fact, probably the greatest reversals and bottoms ever on Bitcoin have been in a scenario where you say there's just no technical bullish argument. Kind of hard to bet on that. I'm not selling. I'm not opening new shorts or anything, at least not at this price. Maybe at 80K if we get there. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, If I could control it, I'd make it all go up. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, friends. Happy Monday. We've been live for an hour. I've done my best. There's just not that much spice. Spice is coming, for sure. Silver could be on the verge of getting very spicy again. Gold's definitely heading towards spice. Bitcoin's going to get spicy whether it's up or down. I don't know. It certainly feels like it's about to make a move. ASML. ASML. ASML looks like the most bullish thing. Here you go. You want to be bullish? Here you are. This chart looks crazy. This chart looks freaking crazy. Just get rid of all of it. Slightest pullback ever. We didn't even see the trend retested. This is like still possible, but I don't know. I'm not betting that. Retesting its all-time high after breaking. I was saying this about gold. Major trend line. Typically, we look for this behavior. Broke major trend line of multiple years out into price discovery. Sellers and profit takers came in, barely impacted the chart, right back to all-time high. Like, it's time to go higher. It's time. 1660, 200, 2020, both great targets for the profit taken. There you go. There's a bullish chart for you. Man. Here's a bullish chart for you. Tether dominance. Tether dominance. Breaking out already. Flagged up. Breaking out already into the new week. Looking to retest previous all-time highs on tether dominance. Probably in March. Not a super bullish sign for crypto at all. But life goes on. I think the charts to be watching today are definitely gold and silver. Keep them zoomed in. Keep your eyes close to the chart as you can without it touching the screen. Don't touch the screen with your eye. You ever drink Bailey's from a shoe? Neither have I. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, fam. We'll be back on Wednesday, unless things get very crazy. Why do my buttons not work anymore? I don't know. My stream deck isn't working. We'll be back on Wednesday. You can join me in the Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. If you sign up with our exchange partners, FEMEX or BYD-Fi, in the video description below. Nice. Now the buttons work. You will get VIP roles in the Discord. You will get a great exchange. If you ever have issues, I will help you with said exchange if you use my links. It helps support the stream. I don't know. Through these boring times. We're going to be back. If anything happens exciting between now and Wednesday, we'll be live. Keep your notifications on. Be keeping an eye out for those streams. Whether it's in Bitcoin or metals or whatever, we'll cover it no matter what time of day. You'll be here. Stay safe. Stay safe from the snow. Hopefully we got a little distraction today. Be safe. Be very careful shoveling. Apparently it's a big deal. Don't lift it over your heart. That's what they say. Anyway.